Admiral Elena Santos stood at the window of the International Space Defense Command, watching the sunset paint the Rocky Mountains in shades of gold. 20 years of service hadn't prepared her for this moment. The holographic display behind her showed what everyone feared: 57 alien warships had just emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter's orbit. The first signs had come 3 days ago. The Deep Space Monitoring Station on Europa detected anomalous energy signatures, far too organized to be natural phenomena. Within hours, every major observatory on Earth confirmed the readings. Humanity's first contact with alien life wouldn't be a peaceful exchange of knowledge, it would be an invasion. "Admiral, they're broadcasting." Lieutenant Chen's voice cracked slightly as he delivered the news. The young officer's hands trembled as they flew across his console, decoding the incoming transmission. The message appeared on the main screen, translated into every major Earth language simultaneously, to the primitive species of Sol 3. "Your system lies within the expansion zone of the Drachnid Empire. Submit to immediate integration or face extinction. You have 12 Earth hours to comply." Santos didn't flinch. Instead, she pressed her palm against a hidden biometric scanner beneath her desk. "Authorization, Phoenix Protocol. Authorization code, Santos Alpha 770. Throughout the command center, hidden panels slid open in the walls. Senior staff members who had seemed like ordinary military personnel stepped forward, revealing insignias that few humans had ever seen: the emblem of Project Prometheus, humanity's secret defense initiative. "Ladies and gentlemen," Santos addressed the room, her voice steady. "For 50 years, we've prepared for this moment. Since the Roswell crash in 1947, we've been reverse engineering alien technology, building our defenses, and waiting. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity won't go quietly." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only to a handful of people, massive doors began to open. In the Mariana Trench, where the pressure would crush conventional submarines, something stirred. In orbit, seemingly ordinary communications satellites transformed, revealing weapon systems that had remained hidden for decades. Dr. Maya Chen, the project's lead scientist, stepped forward. She had spent her entire career working on technology that most people thought impossible. "The Prometheus fleet is ready, Admiral. 3 carriers, 7 destroyers, and the flagship, all equipped with gravity drive systems and quantum shields." Santos nodded, studying the tactical display. The alien fleet was formidable, but they had made one critical mistake: they assumed Earth was defenseless. They didn't know about the quantum torpedoes hidden in the asteroid belt, or the phase shift generators that could turn entire ships intangible, or the antimatter weapons developed in secret lunar bases. "Send our response," Santos ordered. The message was brief: "To the Drachnid Empire, humanity declines your offer. We suggest you reconsider your position." The alien response was immediate. Their ships accelerated, weapons charging. But Santos smiled. As the enemy fleet approached Mars, they triggered the first of Earth's defensive systems. Quantum mines, invisible to conventional sensors, detonated in precisely calculated patterns. 3 Drachnid ships disappeared in balls of light. "Launch the fleet," Santos commanded. "All ships, execute Operation Thunderbolt." Around the world, hidden launch facilities activated. In the Mariana Trench, the massive form of the EDS Prometheus, humanity's first true battleship, rose from the depths. In the Sahara, underground hangars opened, revealing sleek destroyers. From the dark side of the moon, interceptors emerged from hidden bases. The Drachnid fleet hesitated, their sensors suddenly detecting hundreds of energy signatures they hadn't expected. Their formation broke slightly, revealing uncertainty. "They're scanning us," Lieutenant Chen reported. They're pulling back, Admiral." Santos shook her head. "Too late for that. Humanity has hidden in the shadows, preparing for this day. Now we show them why they should have sent diplomats instead of threats." She turned to her crew, seeing determination in every face. All ships, battle stations. Today, we teach the galaxy that humanity will not surrender. Today, we show them why the stars themselves should tremble. As Earth's hidden fleet rose to meet the invaders, Santos thought about all the sacrifices that had led to this moment. The scientists who had worked in secret their entire lives, the soldiers who had trained for a war they couldn't talk about, the politicians who had diverted resources while maintaining the illusion of normal space programs. The first shots were fired near Mars' orbit. The battle that would determine humanity's place in the galaxy had begun, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The EDS Prometheus cut through space like a blade, its quantum engines leaving trails of blue-white energy in the void. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, watching as Mars grew larger in the main viewport. The massive battleship, hidden for decades beneath Earth's oceans, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. Engineering reports quantum cores at full capacity, First Officer James Rodriguez announced, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic displays surrounding the command chair. Shield harmonics are stable. Weapons systems online. The bridge of the Prometheus was unlike anything ever built on Earth. Reverse-engineered alien technology merged seamlessly with human innovation. Neural interfaces allowed the crew to control systems with thought alone, while quantum computers processed battle scenarios faster than human consciousness. Multiple contacts, Lieutenant Maria Torres called from the tactical station. Drachnid fleet is regrouping. They're forming a defensive line around Phobos. Chen nodded, studying the tactical overlay. The alien ships were impressive, their crystalline hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. But they hadn't expected this, a human vessel that could match their technology. The shock of discovering Earth's true capabilities had disrupted their initial attack plan. Deep within the Prometheus, Dr. Alexander Petrov monitored the quantum core. The Russian physicist had spent 30 years developing the technology that powered humanity's secret fleet. The core is performing beyond expectations, he reported through the ship's neural network. We're achieving power levels 20% higher than in simulations. The rest of Earth's fleet moved into formation around the Prometheus. 7 destroyers, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible even to advanced sensors. 3 carriers, each carrying squadrons of fighters equipped with technology that would have seemed impossible just decades ago. Message from Admiral Santos, Communications Officer Lisa Wong announced. All ships are to execute Battle Plan Theta. We're to demonstrate our capabilities without revealing all our advantages. Chen smiled. It was a smart strategy. Show enough strength to make the Drachnids reconsider, but keep some surprises in reserve. All hands, battle stations, she ordered. Launch fighter squadrons. Bring main weapons online. The Prometheus's weapon systems were unique in human history. The main gun used controlled quantum singularities, while the secondary arrays could manipulate gravitational fields themselves. But its true power lay in its defensive capabilities, shields that could adapt to any weapon, and armor that could repair itself using nanobots. Enemy fleet is launching fighters, Torres reported. Reading energy buildups in their main weapons. Deploy countermeasures, Chen commanded. Fighter squadrons, engage at will. Destroyers, move to flanking positions. Let's show them what humanity can do. The space around Mars erupted in chaos. Human fighters, piloted by the best Earth had to offer, engaged their alien counterparts. The human pilots had trained against simulated alien craft for years, their reflexes honed by countless drills. First blood to us, Rodriguez announced as 2 Drachnid fighters disappeared in balls of light. Our pilots' training is paying off. But the Drachnids weren't easily defeated. Their capital ships began firing, their energy weapons cutting through space. The Prometheus's shields flared as they absorbed the impact, quantum harmonics distributing the energy across multiple dimensional planes. Return fire, Chen ordered. Target their lead vessel. Show them what our main gun can do. The Prometheus's bow began to glow as the quantum singularity cannon powered up. Energy collected from multiple dimensions, focused through crystals grown in zero gravity. When it fired, space itself seemed to bend. The beam struck the Drachnid flagship's shields, which held for precisely 2.3 seconds before failing. The ship's crystalline hull cracked, internal explosions visible through the breaking structure. Direct hit, Torres reported, unable to keep the pride from her voice. Enemy flagship is severely damaged. They're falling back. Throughout the bridge, the crew maintained their professional demeanor, but Chen could sense their excitement. Humanity wasn't just holding its own, it was winning. Admiral Santos is hailing the Drachnid fleet, Wong announced. Offering them one chance to withdraw and open diplomatic channels. For several tense moments, the battle paused. The damaged Drachnid flagship hung in space, its once proud form now scarred and broken. Finally, a response came. They're requesting a temporary ceasefire, Wong reported. Their admiral wants to speak with ours. Chen exchanged looks with her bridge crew. This was more than just a battle, it was humanity's introduction to the galactic community. And they had made quite an entrance. Maintain battle stations, she ordered. Keep weapons locked but don't fire unless fired upon. Let's see what they have to say. As the diplomatic channels opened, Chen couldn't help but feel pride. Humanity had faced its first major extraterrestrial threat not with fear or submission, but with preparation, innovation, and courage. The stars might have trembled when humanity's battleship arrived, but they would soon learn that Earth's greatest strength wasn't its weapons, it was its people. Would you like me to continue with part 3? The diplomatic chamber aboard the Prometheus hummed with tension as the holographic form of the Drachnid admiral materialized. Captain Chen stood beside Admiral Santos, studying their alien counterpart. The Drachnid was tall, with crystalline formations protruding from iridescent scales, its multiple eyes reflecting light like faceted gems. You have surprised us, humans, the alien spoke, its words translated by advanced AI systems. Our intelligence suggested your species was centuries behind in technological development. We've learned to be discreet, Santos replied coolly. Your arrival wasn't unexpected. We've been preparing for decades. The Drachnid admiral's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. Preparing? How did you? It paused, its eyes narrowing. The Zethran scout ship. The one that crashed on your world 70 years ago. You found it. We did more than find it, Dr. Petrov stepped forward, his neural interface glowing softly. We understood it. Improved upon it. Made it our own. The alien leader remained silent for a long moment, its crystalline form catching the light in complex patterns. Finally, it spoke again, but this time the tone was different, urgent, almost desperate. Perhaps this changes everything. We may have made a terrible mistake. Before Santos could respond, alarms blared throughout the Prometheus. Lieutenant Torres's voice came through the neural network, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. Massive energy readings. The holographic display shifted, showing new contacts emerging from hyperspace. These ships were different, darker, more organic in design, moving with unsettling grace. The swarm, the Drachnid admiral whispered, fear evident in its translated voice. They followed us. Dozens of biomechanical ships appeared, their hulls seeming to pulse with internal light. They were larger than both human and Drachnid vessels, their designs defying conventional engineering. What are we dealing with? Santos demanded. The real threat to this galaxy, the Drachnid replied. We didn't come to conquer your world, we came seeking allies. But our leaders thought you too primitive. They ordered subjugation instead of alliance. Chen watched as the new fleet approached, their formation perfect, almost hive-mind-like in coordination. These swarm ships, what are their capabilities? They are a collective consciousness, the alien explained. Organic technology fused with artificial intelligence. They consume worlds, absorb civilizations. We've been fighting them for centuries, losing ground each year. Santos and Chen exchanged looks. The situation had changed dramatically, but humanity's preparation might have accidentally prepared them for this greater threat. The quantum singularity weapons, Dr. Petrov mused. They might be especially effective against organic technology. The Drachnid Admiral's crystalline form shifted in surprise. You've developed quantum singularity technology? Impossible. Even we haven't mastered that. Humanity has a talent for achieving the impossible, Santos replied. She turned to Chen. Captain, prepare the fleet for combat. All ships to battle stations. The swarm ships launched their first attack without warning or demands. Beams of corrupted energy lashed out, targeting both human and Drachnid vessels. The Prometheus's shields flared but held. All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega, Santos commanded. Dr. Petrov, prepare to demonstrate why humanity's innovations are unique in the galaxy. The space around Mars became a battlefield unlike anything in human history. The Prometheus led Earth's fleet in perfect coordination with their former Drachnid adversaries. Human ingenuity combined with Drachnid experience created strategies the swarm had never encountered. Quantum singularity weapons tore through organic hulls. Gravitational fields disrupted the swarm's hive-mind coordination. Human fighters demonstrated maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, their neural-linked pilots pushing their ships beyond designed limits. Their organic technology is adapting, Torres reported as another swarm ship regenerated from a direct hit. But slower than expected. Our quantum weapons are disrupting their healing process. The battle raged for hours. The combined human-Drachnid fleet suffered losses, but for every allied ship destroyed, multiple swarm vessels were eliminated. The Prometheus's main gun proved devastating, its quantum singularities creating chain reactions within the organic ships. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of combat, the remaining swarm ships retreated, jumping to hyperspace in a coordinated withdrawal. In the aftermath, as damage reports came in and rescue operations began, the Drachnid Admiral turned to Santos. We owe your people an apology, Admiral. We came to conquer and found equals. More than equals, you may have just shown us how to turn the tide against the swarm. Santos nodded, her expression serious. Then perhaps it's time for real diplomatic discussions. Not as conquerors and subjects, but as allies against a common enemy. As the Prometheus's crew began recovery operations, Chen couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself not just through strength of arms, but through innovation, adaptability, and the willingness to turn enemies into allies. The stars had trembled when humanity's battleship arrived, but now they watched as humanity took its first steps toward becoming a major force in galactic politics. The real challenge, and humanity's greatest adventure, was just beginning. Would you like me to continue with Part 4? The Grand Chamber of the newly established Galactic Defense Council aboard the Prometheus buzzed with activity. Representatives from Earth and the Drachnid Empire worked side by side, their previous hostilities forgotten in the face of a greater threat. Admiral Santos watched as Dr. Petrov demonstrated human quantum technology to a group of fascinated Drachnid scientists. Your species continues to astound us, High Commander Zyxtal of the Drachnid fleet commented, its crystalline form shifting colors in what Santos had learned was an expression of admiration. In mere decades, you've achieved what took us centuries. Necessity breeds innovation, Santos replied, studying the holographic display showing swarm movement patterns across the galaxy. And humanity has always excelled at adapting to survive. Captain Chen approached, her neural interface glowing with new data. The combined fleet is ready, Admiral. The modifications to the Drachnid ships are complete. Dr. Petrov's quantum harmonics have been successfully integrated with their crystal-based technology. The upgrades had been Santos's idea, sharing human innovations with their new allies while incorporating Drachnid crystalline technology into Earth's vessels. The result was something entirely new, a hybrid fleet more powerful than either civilization could have created alone. "We're detecting unusual energy signatures from the Kuiper Belt," Lieutenant Torres announced suddenly. "Similar to swarm signatures, but different." The main display shifted, showing a massive object emerging from the outer solar system. It was clearly of swarm origin, but unlike anything they'd encountered before. Nearly the size of Earth's moon, it pulsed with corrupt energy. "A nexus," Zwyxtal whispered, crystal fragments chiming in distress. "We've only heard rumors of these. They use them to coordinate massive invasions across multiple systems." Dr. Petrov's neural interface flared as he analyzed the readings. "The quantum fluctuations, they're using it to communicate across vast distances. It's not just a command center, it's a gateway. They're not going to let us keep our alliance," Santos realized. "They're bringing their full force to crush us before we can share our technology with other civilizations." The Nexus began releasing smaller ships, hundreds of them, then thousands. Behind them, massive tentacles of dark energy reached out into space, preparing to tear open rifts in reality itself. "All ships, battle stations," Santos commanded, her voice carrying across the neural network to every human in Drachnid vessel. "This is the moment we've prepared for. Humanity in Drachnid, standing together against the darkness." The Prometheus led the combined fleet, its quantum crystal hybrid systems humming with power. The vessel had been upgraded with Drachnid technology, its hull now incorporating living crystal that enhanced its already formidable capabilities. "Launch Operation Starbreak," Santos ordered. "Show them what our civilizations can achieve together." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Human quantum weapons, enhanced by Drachnid crystals, tore through swarm bioships. Drachnid energy beams, focused through human quantum lenses, struck with unprecedented power. Fighter squadrons from both species flew in perfect formation, their different technologies complementing each other in ways the swarm couldn't predict. But the Nexus was powerful. Its dark energy tentacles grabbed allied ships, crushing them or flinging them into each other. Waves of corruption spread through space, threatening to overwhelm shields and infect organic systems. "The Nexus is trying to open a dimensional rift," Dr. Petrov reported, his face pale. "If they succeed, they'll bring through reinforcements from across the galaxy." "Not if we can help it," Chen replied. She turned to Santos. "Admiral, we could use the quantum cores of all our ships. Create a resonance cascade." Santos understood immediately. "It would destroy the Prometheus and most of our fleet. But it would close their gateway permanently," Zwyxtal added, its crystalline form pulsing with determination. "We will stand with you." Santos looked around the chamber at humans and Drachnids working together, two species that had been enemies mere days ago, now united in defense of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. "Send the command," she ordered. "All ships, prepare for quantum resonance cascade. Target the Nexus's dimensional generators." The combined fleet moved into formation around the Prometheus. Human quantum cores linked with Drachnid crystal matrices, building power in ways neither species had thought possible. The Nexus sensed the danger, launching everything it had at them. "Resonance cascade initiating," Dr. Petrov announced. All ships linked. Power levels beyond theoretical limits. Space itself seemed to hold its breath as the Allied fleet released their combined power. A wave of quantum crystal energy erupted from their ships, meeting the Nexus's dimensional rift attempt head-on. For a moment, reality itself seemed to crack. Then the Nexus's rifts collapsed, the massive structure breaking apart as the cascade tore through its systems. The remaining swarm ships, cut off from their hive mind, fell into disarray. "Nexus destroyed," Torres reported, her voice weak but triumphant. "Swarm fleet is retreating. But our ships, the cascade damaged most of our systems." As emergency crews worked to stabilize the damaged vessels, Santos stood with ZYXTAL, watching the debris of their victory float in the void. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The swarm will return. And we will be ready," ZYXTAL replied. "Not as separate species, but as allies. Perhaps even as friends." The stars had indeed trembled when humanity's battleship arrived, but now they witnessed something even more remarkable, the birth of an alliance that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, it had forged a path toward a future where different species could stand together against the darkness. Would you like me to write the final part? 1 year after the Battle of the Nexus, Earth had changed beyond recognition. The skies above major cities now featured the crystalline shapes of Drachnid ships alongside human vessels. In orbit, the first joint human-Drachnid space station neared completion, its hybrid architecture a testament to the cooperation between the two species. Admiral Santos stood in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy in Geneva, watching as representatives from a dozen alien civilizations filed into the chamber. The defeat of the Swarm Nexus had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Species that had been fighting the Swarm for generations now looked to Earth and its unlikely alliance with the Drachnids for hope. The quantum crystal hybrid technology has been successfully replicated on 3 more fleet vessels, Captain Chen reported, her neural interface now incorporating elegant Drachnid crystal patterns. The other civilizations are amazed by how quickly we've advanced the technology. Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons, Dr. Petrov added, looking up from his work with a group of alien scientists. It was our ability to adapt, to take ideas and transform them into something new. The Prometheus, now restored and enhanced, orbited above them. Its hull gleamed with the integration of human and Drachnid technology, a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. The ship that had once been humanity's secret weapon had become a beacon of hope for the galaxy. Message from the Outer Defense Network, Lieutenant Torres announced through the neural link. The Arcturus Alliance is requesting permission to send their diplomatic fleet. They've finally decided to join our coalition. Santos smiled. The Arcturus civilization had been fighting the Swarm alone for centuries, proud and isolated. Their request for alliance was a significant victory for galactic unity. High Commander ZYXTAL approached, its crystalline form now incorporating some human aesthetic designs, a fashion trend that had surprisingly caught on among the Drachnids. The Swarm has gone silent in 3 more sectors. Our combined patrols are working. They're adapting, Santos replied. They always do. But so are we. The main chamber filled with representatives from across known space. Some were humanoid, others crystalline like the Drachnids, and some defied traditional classification entirely. Yet they all came with the same purpose, to stand together against the darkness. The latest reports from our deep space probes are encouraging, Chen said, projecting a holographic map of known space. The quantum crystal hybrid sensors are detecting swarm movements earlier than ever before. We're no longer fighting blind. Dr. Petrov activated another hologram, showing the designs for something new. The combined research team has made a breakthrough. We're calling it the Harmony Network, a galaxy-wide defense system combining all our technologies. Human quantum science, Drachnid crystals, Arcturian energy fields, and more. Santos studied the designs with pride. 1 year ago, humanity had stood alone, hiding its strength from the galaxy. Now they stood at the center of the greatest alliance known space had ever seen. We've received the final ratification, Torres announced. The Galactic Defense Accord has been signed by all 27 member species. The chamber erupted in celebration. Representatives from civilizations that had been enemies for generations now stood together, united in purpose. Human innovation, combined with the ancient wisdom of other species, had changed the very nature of galactic politics. Sometimes I wonder, Santos said quietly to ZYXTAL, what would have happened if you hadn't come to Earth that day? If we hadn't been forced to reveal ourselves? The Drachnid commander's crystals chimed thoughtfully. Perhaps the stars knew what they were doing when they brought us together. Your species taught us something we had forgotten, that true strength comes not from conquest, but from cooperation. Above them, the Prometheus began its patrol, now accompanied by ships from a dozen different civilizations. Each vessel was unique, incorporating aspects of multiple species' technologies. They were no longer just defending Earth or individual worlds, they were protecting the dream of a united galaxy. The stars had trembled when humanity's battleship first arrived, but now they watched over something far more powerful, a coalition of species working together, learning from each other, growing stronger through unity rather than conquest. The galaxy was changing, and humanity, through its ingenuity, adaptability, and willingness to extend a hand in friendship even to former enemies, had helped chart the course to a brighter future. As night fell over Earth, lights from alien ships twinkled alongside the stars, no longer a sign of threat but a reminder that in the vastness of space, the strongest force wasn't weapons or technology, it was the power of different species choosing to stand together, facing whatever challenges the universe might bring as one united front. The end. Would you like me to create the SEO-optimized title and description for the YouTube video now?